Hi, welcome to Remaining Aloft in the Twitterverse. You can find all of today's presentation materials at the link at the bottom, bit.ly/TwitterAloft. My name is Darcie and I'm an instructional technology resource teacher at Manassas Park High School in Manassas Park, Virginia. I am also a Google for Education certified educator and certified trainer. And you can find my training tips and videos on social media at @MsPriester_ITRT and also on my YouTube channel or my blog, Teaching in a Beta State. In today's session, you're going to understand advanced features and tips for using Twitter, how you can curate resources that you find on Twitter, and grow your PLN, especially through Twitter chats. If you're participating in the scavenger hunt, my scavenger hunt word is validity. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So the first advanced feature that I want to show you is a poll. This is an example of one that I did when my MacBook Pro died, and I was asking some of my followers, what do you think I should go with, a MacBook Pro or a Chromebook? So obviously you can see here that a Chromebook won out, and eventually I did get a Chromebook, but it took me a little bit of time. So I want to go into Twitter now and show you how you can create a poll. A poll is great for working with your students, finding out, did they like last night's homework, or was there something that they struggled to understand? You could also do this with a lesson or as a quick exit ticket with students. So right here, you've got your icon. So this is where you would go in and create your tweet. So I'm going to click on my poll icon. And up here is where I can ask a question. I can say, like, what is your favorite session so far? And then I can add in my answer choices. So I know Twitterverse is one of those choices. And then I can continue to add those choices. If I need more options, I can click on the plus sign over here to add those additional options. Then I need to decide a length for how long I want this poll to remain on Twitter. So I can do days up to a week, hours, or even for just a few minutes. So I'm just going to choose 5 minutes for right now. Oh, and you also don't want to forget, if you're doing this for something like today's virtual session or virtual conference, you might want to add the hashtag in so that other people can see that poll and participate in it. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and click tweet and it will send out the poll. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that so that we can move on. So the next part I want to go to is over here on the right-hand side, this search Twitter bar where I can go ahead and search for lesson ideas or search for people that I want to follow. Maybe I've heard of someone and read an article and I want to go search for them. So right here, I can go ahead and type in any of the keywords that I'm looking for, or I could go back and look at a recent topic that I was looking for. So let's just click on Google Hangouts. And then Google filters this for me. So right away, it gives me the top results. So these are the ones that have the most maybe likes or retweets. So I can go through and I can see that it's, again, kind of filtered down a little bit more by people, or I can see the exact tweets and I can search through that. I can also look at the latest ones or the most recent tweets. And this is usually where I go if I'm looking for something because I want to see some of the most recent things that are out there. I could also look for people. So here I can look at Google, one of the different companies that would be out there, or I could just look at other people like Scott Johnston and see maybe what they've put out there about Google Hangouts. Or I could also look for photos that include the keyword that I'm searching for or videos. Now I can also save this search, which is great if you're using this over and over again and this is something that you want to go back to. So right here on these three dots, I can go down to Save Search. And then when I go back the next time to search, I can go all the way down to the bottom and find my saved searches. And then just click on that and it'll take me back into that search. Now, if I'm done with that and I don't want to use it as a saved search anymore, I can just click the trash can to delete it. Now I want to go back to the search bar because there's another area that I want to show you when you're searching. So over here on the right-hand side, I could search by people. So I could search for anyone that's on Twitter or just people that I follow. So this is great that if I'm looking for something for work, maybe I want to find something from someone who's in my area, my location. So maybe I don't want to do a worldwide search. Maybe I just want to keep it closer to home and see what other schools in my area are doing with a topic. Or I could do it with location as well. I could just do near me or anywhere. Now there's also an advanced search. So I can click on this and find even more options to help me narrow down my search on Twitter. So I have where I could use certain keywords, words that maybe include certain keywords, words that exclude, or terms that exclude certain words. I could go down and look for certain accounts, or I could filter maybe ones that are just replies to tweets or have a certain engagement. So ones that I could say a minimum amount of replies, or I could even search from dates. You can also find that advanced search by clicking on those three dots and clicking on advanced search that way as well. All right, once you've found those resources, how do you save them? So I'm going to go back here and find a specific tweet. Let's say, okay. So on this tweet, I want to focus on these two icons right here, down at the bottom. I don't have an appropriate name for what this icon is. I just call it the up button. But on this button, it allows me to do several things. I could send a tweet via a direct message to another user on Twitter. So this would be just a private message between the two of us. No one else would see this. Or I could add tweets to a bookmark, which is awesome. I do this all the time. When I find something, I click on it and save it to my bookmark area, which is right over here. And when I click on bookmarks, I can go back in and see all of the different tweets that I have saved that I may want to send to a colleague or go back to look at it for, maybe it has an article on it that I want to go back and read later on. So there's all kinds of different things that I can do with that. And then if I click back on this button again, I can also copy a link to a tweet. And this is really great, especially like at my school. About half my staff is on Twitter and half the staff isn't. So if there's something that I want someone to see on Twitter, I can just copy that link and send it to them in an email. They can click on that link and go in and see it on Twitter without having to have a Twitter account, which I think is really an awesome feature. Okay, so now I want to get into some of the third-party companies that you can use with Twitter. And the first one that I want to talk about is Wakelet. If you haven't heard of Wakelet yet, this is such a great site, and it's great for kind of curating all of those resources. I've seen teachers also design lessons using this, and then sending out a collection to their students that give them all of the information that they need. So I'm just going to show you real quick. If you create a new collection, this is all of the different things that you can save on Wakelet. So you can add text to make like captions or headers. You can add videos, bookmarks, images, PDFs, files from Google Drive, and tweets, which is really cool because this is a great way for me to curate things into a collection. So back when I was over here and I was looking at those bookmarks, these bookmarks unfortunately are not searchable. So if I saved something a few weeks ago, I'm having to scroll through everything that I saved to find that tweet again. But with Wakelet, I could just put it into a collection and find it within that collection. I kind of feel like it's a little bit like Pinterest. So what's really cool about Wakelet too is that if I add this as a Chrome extension into my Chrome browser, right here, I could go in and if I'm on a different site or like this presentation, I could go into Wakelet and have it come up and then save it to a collection right here. And then it also adds an icon into Twitter. So right here at the bottom, I've got a W. So if I wanted to save this tweet, I could click on the W and then add it straight into one of my collections in Wakelet. So it's a really great resource. The next one that I want to talk about is Buffer. And Buffer is a way that you can schedule tweets ahead of time. This is really great for coaches or administrators, band directors, anything where you have an event coming up, maybe even reminders for tests for students or reminders for them to turn something in. You could do all of this ahead of time in Twitter and schedule it to go out at a specific time and not have to remember to go into Twitter, create a tweet, and send it. This way, you're doing it all ahead of time. You can also do other social media accounts. So like Instagram is another option that you can do. So once I've created my Buffer account, I'm going to select my Twitter account. So this is actually our school Twitter account. And I can click on this and then go into what do I want to share to this account. I could also click on Instagram if I wanted to share it to both places. But for right now, I'm just going to focus on Twitter. So I'm going to put in the message of my tweet, that text. I can add in hashtags. I can add in videos or images that I have saved. And then, so let me just put in some text in here. So then when I'm ready to share it out or schedule it, I can go over here, and I typically don't do share now because if I was going to share it right then and there, I just go into Twitter and do that. I only really use this for scheduling posts ahead of time. So I can go in to schedule a post, pick the date and the time that I want it to go out, and then hit schedule. So let's say I want it on April 16th and at 1:45 p.m., hit schedule. And then when I scroll down to April 16th, I'm going to see that it's right here ready to go out. So I'm going to delete this so that I don't actually send that out. And the final third-party app that I want to show you is TweetDeck. And this is probably unlike anything you may have seen before. It really breaks down your Twitter account into columns. So if I go back here to Twitter, I can see here's my home button that shows me everything in my feed. I could look at my notifications. I could look at my bookmarks. And all of that is broken down into these different columns. So here's my Twitter feed right here. Here are my notifications. Here's also a search bar, so I could go in and still continue to search for different items. So this is actually set to look for my school district's Twitter chat. Now, all of these can be customized. So when you first go into TweetDeck, your TweetDeck's probably going to look a little different from mine because it's going to be set to the default. I've gone in and I've physically moved some of these around. So like if I wanted to have this column moved over here, I could do that, or I could move it back again wherever I want it to go. I could also delete different columns. So if I didn't want to see that particular column and I wanted to put something else in there, I could just click on this little icon right here and then click on remove to actually remove it. So to create these different columns, I can go over here to the plus sign on the left side navigation, and I'm going to say add a column. So some of these could be collections. So that ISTE 19 that I was moving around was actually a collection. I had done a search for tweets from ISTE 19 and created a collection, and then I could save tweets into that collection to be able to go back and look at it later. I could also do a search. So this is great that if I'm looking for a particular hashtag, I can just search for it and keep everything in that column. TweetDeck allows me to do a lot of other things too, just besides seeing things in different columns. I can go in and I can add a tweet right from here. I can also schedule tweets as well. So if I wanted to go in and again, let me just put in some text and hit schedule, I can pick the date and the time and then send it out right from here, which is another great feature. And then, like I said, you can also search for different things for a hashtag. So let's jump into talking about a Twitter chat a little bit. So what exactly is a Twitter chat? So this is a chat that centers around a specific topic. Now, a Twitter chat is done all through Twitter, obviously. And it could be half an hour, it could be an hour, and everyone follows a specific hashtag. So let's take my school districts for an example. We have the hashtag MPCS chat, and we have a school-wide Twitter chat every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. And each week we talk about a different topic. So the facilitator will typically create different questions, about 5 questions, especially if you're doing an hour-long chat. And at different time periods throughout that hour, they will send out a question. So for question number 1, anyone who's participating in that chat can respond to that question. So question 1 would go out, and you're going to respond in a tweet with A1 being answer 1 for question number 1 and add your response and then add in the hashtag. If you don't have that hashtag, it's really hard to follow the conversation. So you want to make sure that you have that hashtag added in so that you're able to search for everything going on in the conversation. So if I go back to TweetDeck, I created a column with that search, and when I hit enter, I can look for anything that comes up with that hashtag. So here I can say, here's answer number 4. So this was a response to question number 4. I can also just look for A1 and see responses to question number 1, or I could put in Q1 to see what those different questions may have been. And as you can see, here's the hashtag right here. So I think Twitter chats are a fun way to talk about a topic, learn about different things around that topic, and then grow your PLN. You get to meet a lot of different people through a Twitter chat, and then you can follow each other. Oh, and the other thing that I need to mention is right here in the search, I could reply, I can retweet, I can like, I can embed this tweet, I can share. There's all kinds of different things that I can do right in TweetDeck. So I do want to show you some more things about some more resources that you can get on Twitter chats. So right here are some helpful tools if you're looking to jump into a Twitter chat. Here's TweetDeck, but here are some other options for you. And then where are some Twitter chats? How do you get involved? How do you find one? So here are some popular hashtags. This one right here is in Northern Virginia, if you're in Virginia. This one is also another Virginia-based Twitter chat, as is the VA chat. That's a Virginia chat as well. But there's lots of different topics. There's one on PBL. Teach Like a Pirate has one. Ditch That Textbook. If you're a fan of Matt Miller, he has his own Twitter chats. But you can also find lots of other Twitter chats through these links. There's a calendar of different educational chats that you can find. So once again, here is my information if you'd like to come back and be able to contact me, or if you have any questions about some of these advanced features of Twitter later on, this is how you can get in touch with me. So thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of the virtual conference.